Good morning to you out there. This is the AM Club and I am Edma Ohima Lawe.
And I am Godwin Namboh. What a way to end the month.
I know, right?
It's looking beautiful out there.
I know.
The weather is so cool. I mean, it's not shining, it's not raining, but it's so beautiful.
I do prefer a bit of heat though.
You do?
Yeah, do you know what? It was so cold last night, but then I was so tired and so lazy to get out of my bed and switch on the AC on the wall that I froze in my bed.
There you go. So it's the AC, it's not the weather. Please, those of us who
but
don't
the weather is also that also contribute to it.
We need that weather. But like I said, it's a beautiful way to end the month. I mean, it's 30th. One more day to end the month. It's the 30th of August. Welcome to the AM Club, coming to you live from our Silicon Square studios here at MX24 in East Legon.
I mean, one more day, like you said, till we hit September. And here on MX24, we are ready with loads of fun, fearless and factual content for you to experience. And that's what we've been doing so far.
Absolutely.
For the past 3 weeks. This is our third week.
Wow.
It's gone so
Time
fast.
flies.
I know,
I
right?
feel like we've been doing this forever.
I swear. It does
cool,
feel like that.
We're feeling so cool.
I know, right? And of course, we are here to keep you company, entertained, inspired and informed for the next 2 hours.
All right, so Monday, let's get right to it. And we will begin with Coffee Daily, where we recap some of the top most trending stories around the world, including a new rollout by Twitter.
Yes. So after Coffee Daily, we have Lifestyle Daily, and I'm sure you already know this by now, where we take you through issues that are affecting your everyday living. And
our hashtag today is Motivation Monday, and we'll be interacting with a renowned Ghanaian writer and filmmaker. She'll inspire us with her success story.
Remember, this is the AM Club, where you are a major part of the show. So do join us online on all our social media platforms, from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We are streaming live as we speak right now, just in case you are not at home and you are not able to get in front of your TV screens and watch it. And also do make sure that you join in the conversation by hashtagging the AM Club on all our social media platforms at MX24GH.
Absolutely, and we are very active on WhatsApp. The line is 055-033-1511. Please don't call the line, just text us, 055-033-1511. You can join the conversation with your voice notes, your video reactions to all the stories we'll cover on the show today.
And it's now time for our Daily Dose of Him, hashtag My Daily Dose of Him. And it's a video from IEC's inspired new jam, Blessing. Stay tuned.
world, they follow me. Hey, man, I love AEC. You've got to love AI. Amazing song there. That was our motivation, what do you call it? My daily dose of him. Hashtag my daily dose of him. You're still watching the AM Club, and it's now time for Coffee Daily, where we bring you some of the most trending stories around the world in the last 24 hours. And the first story, Edma?
Well, the Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate has announced that the administration of the second dose for the AstraZeneca vaccine will commence tomorrow to September 4, 2021 across all the 29 districts in the Greater Accra region. Persons above 18 years old, especially those who received their first dose of their AstraZeneca vaccine between March 10, 2021 and March 29, 2021 are eligible to take part in the exercise. However, you are also required to bring along a valid national ID card and the COVID-19 vaccine card for the exercise. So do remember that those are the requirements that you need to bring. Do not, if you've gotten your first jab already for the AstraZeneca from the 10th of March and 29th of March 2021, do make sure that you go for your second dose of AstraZeneca. Yeah?
You going for it? Have you had the first one? The two of us, we are not correct.
I was actually hoping you do not ask me that question, so I don't have to answer.
You know I was going to ask you. I mean.
Okay, anyways, let's move on. And we are still on the subject of accidents this week. A vehicle traveling from Accra to Tema skidded off the road, somersaulting several times, and crashed into the maiden of the Accra-Tema motorway. The incident, which occurred yesterday, was said to have happened when a motor rider crossed a speeding Hyundai Elantra saloon car. According to eyewitness, the driver was alive, but the passenger was bleeding profusely. The chief inspector from the airport MTTD, who was at the scene, said victims have been taken to the 37 military hospital and the vehicle has been towed to the Accra police station for further investigation. I mean, this is our third week of the AM Club on MX24, and I feel like every single week.
Yep.
Every single week we have a story that has to do with a road accident.
Absolutely.
And at this point, I really do not even know what to say, but I'm still going to keep on saying it. Let's be vigilant on our road, guys. I mean, this does not have to happen. Like we mentioned, the first week of our show, we did have an extensive conversation on road safety, and 99% of road accidents on our roads can be prevented. It can be prevented. So please be vigilant out there. Make sure that your brother is your brother. Do not fight on the road. Road rage is the worst. And motorcyclists, please, please, please.
I've seen this attitude on the motorway. It happens every time. When you're driving, they cross you. And they're carrying passengers. Sometimes you see a woman carrying a child sitting behind a bike and they're crossing the motorway. It is a motorway for a reason.
Absolutely.
I do not understand this attitude. It's crazy. And you see motor riders riding
in between. In between the
motorway.
It's at this point, I don't even know what to say anymore. But one thing that I would say is that I wouldn't even want the government to reach a point where we banned motorcyclists from even going on the motorway or highways, to be honest. Because at this point, I feel like that's the only option really for our motorways. And these are not motorcycles like the ones that you see in the
big
big ones.
These are the very small ones.
The small ones. So it's more prone to accidents.
I'm glad with what the road minister is doing now. He announced that some of these things will be banned, especially this Aboboya, what we call the Aboboya on our major roads will be banned, and it's good to hear.
Absolutely.
We need to save some lives. It's okay.
Yes. Okay, so now let's move on to some news from Afghanistan. U.S. officials have confirmed that a drone has destroyed a vehicle which was carrying a substantial amount of explosive material heading to Kabul airport. According to the U.S. military, the strike yesterday was an act of self-defense to eliminate an imminent threat to Hamad Karzai International Airport. However, there has actually been civilians casualty. A family of 9 people has been reported dead. This is the second airstrike the U.S. has conducted against the terrorist group ISIS-K, which said it carried out on Thursday's suicide bomb that killed 13 of its service members and a score of Afghans. And this is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's still going on. I thought maybe after, I mean, the US officials did say that towards the end of the emergency evacuation, there would be more threats from ISIS-K. However, I didn't think that it would be this soon. And I also didn't think that this amount of people would have to again lose their lives, because as a report from CNN today, there is a family of 6 people who have lost their lives based on the
airstrike.
Yeah, the airstrike.
I mean, this Afghan thing is I don't know when we're gonna end talking about it. Over 47,000 people have died since 2001 when this thing. 47,000 people. That's like a genocide, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's crazy.
And it's funny because the ISIS-K, they actually used to be the Taliban who took over, but they decided to pull out from the Taliban group because they feel like the Taliban are given out to Western governments. So they don't believe in the belief of the Taliban as of now, so they decided to form their own group, which is now called ISIS-K.
So how's it going to be? The Taliban will now have to battle ISIS-K and try to run the country at the same time.
Funny enough, in an interview with CNN, they did mention that they have over 600 people now as members. They are not looking yet at international strikes, but they are now dealing with Afghanistan, and they are waiting for the Western powers to leave Afghanistan to now make their impact.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
And they've left, because I know the last British flight touched down yesterday.
Yeah.
I think so. After 20 years of investment and fighting, pray for Afghanistan.
Yeah,
honestly,
let's pray for
Afghanistan.
Absolutely.
Let's move away from these sad stories and do some sports news now. 10-man Chelsea produced a display of remarkable resistance to hold on for a 1-1 draw with Liverpool in an epic contest between 2 Premier League title hopefuls at Anfield, following Reece James sending off in first half injury time. Kai Havertz's header put the visitors ahead in the 21st minute, but Mohamed Salah equalized in first half stoppage time, I beg your pardon, with a calmly dispatched penalty. Ladies and gentlemen, I was in the studio when people were telling me that Chelsea version with 3, Chelsea version with 2. We are the champions of Europe, we have this, we have that. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. You came to Anfield. Need I remind you that you came to Anfield, and it's okay. Let's read some tweets. Let's go on with some tweets.
But our prediction did say that Liverpool was going to win 2-1.
Our prediction did say so, but the Chelsea man who's waving his hand right now at me in the studio said differently when we finished the show last week.
Absolutely, you did, yes.
And Silence is Key says on Twitter that defense is top-notch. We know that already. Ziyech should have started. He should have played to kill the game. I don't get it. Great battle. Really great. It was a beautiful game. But Ziyech is the war chief. And you... Sorry, I can't see the last part of that tweet. I can't... Oh, but there we go. And you had him on the bench the whole 90 minutes. Romelu Lukaku says the team showed a lot of personality today. On to the next one. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look who's back. At the Grand Dam says Anthony Taylor needs to understand that people pay good money to come and watch Chelsea versus Liverpool, not controversial refereeing decisions. Wow. If I wanted that, I'd watch Love Island. A good referee isn't the center of attention, but he's done it again.
But you know, there was actually a petition to never allow the referee to eventually, how do you say it when a referee does officiate a Chelsea match again? Ooh. Yeah, there was actually a petition, and there was over 30,000 people who have signed on to it.
Chelsea, you're just emotional people, please. Leave us alone. At Alex Goldberg says, honestly, that's a great result for Chelsea. Hey, why am I getting Chelsea tweets? Why the Liverpool tweet? I know we can't draw too many highlights from it because we were a man down before half-time. But to get a point at Anfield is a strong versus a strong Liverpool team is a decent point at all the time. All the time, let alone a man down. Everyone worked hard. Well, good one, Chelsea. You did well, but yeah, we couldn't have given you 3 points like that. Not possible. Okay, moving away from Chelsea, Celtic Vigo defender Joseph Edu has been handed Black Stars call up as Siki Akono expands his squad for the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Edu, who hasn't been in the team since the AFCON qualifier against Sudan, comes in to shore up options at the back due to the possible absence of Daniel Amate for Ethiopia and South Africa clashes. Aside Edu, Siki Akono has also handed call-ups to Yao Yeboah and two Germany-based players, Braden Menu and Daniel Kofi Cherep. Coach Akono is set to be without several of his first-team players due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and injuries. Is he going to call Thomas Partey? I don't know. But you know the whole thing that's going on in, in the English Premier League,
yes.
The red list countries and all that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let's hope they give us a chance to get some of our best players from England to join the team.
I mean, I did it for the European Champions League, so I think it's only right. All they need to do is just get maybe vaccinated or just do the PCR test. And
that's what it is, really. Yeah. They need you as on the advisory board.
I know, they really do. I'm rooting for anything Africa, really and truly. I mean, the players. How can you just tell them that they can't play for their own national team?
I mean, the UK is also trying to protect its people. So let's see how it goes. Let's look at some of the results that came on match week 3. Manchester City gave a thrashing to Arsenal 5-0 on Saturday. Aston Villa 1-1 against Brentford. Brighton was 0, Everton 2, Newcastle United 2, Southampton 2, Norwich City 1, Leicester City 2, West Ham United 2, Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 1, Chelsea 1. Burnley 1, Leeds United 1 on Sunday. Tottenham 1 against Watford 0. Wolves 0, Manchester United 1. Manchester United suffered in that game, I must say. Wolves did not give you guys a chance at all.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all about getting the 3 points, and the 3 points we do have. So, at least we are not in Chelsea, Arsenal's position.
Many thanks to that, your Mason player. You did good. Anyways, let's do some social media news. Twitter has started rolling out for ticketed spaces for iOS users. Now, ticketed spaces allow creators to generate revenue from the spaces they host by charging a ticket price. Creators will be given up to 97% of the revenue earned from tickets purchased to their ticketed spaces. Ticketed spaces allow creators to invite between 5 and 100 people who can be reminded that a new space is happening with push and in-app notifications. Creators can charge anywhere between $1 and $999 for their space. Edma,
should we start one?
Shouldn't we start one?
Yes.
What are we waiting for?
What are we waiting for? Let's do that.
We can start by charging just $5. Listen, guys, we're going to be hosting. Edma and I are going to be hosting AM Club branch. Oh, that's nice. I have a name for it already. So all you have to do is to pay $5 and just join us on Twitter.
Absolutely.
So this is how it's going to work for iOS users. Now, they said they're starting this out with iOS users, just testing the waters, and they had to start with the Apple.
Android users are always the last ones. So bless them.
So sorry for you Android users. I'm not saying go and buy iPhone by force. That's not my motivation this morning. That's not what I'm saying. So now you can monetize, your Twitter account by being on ticketed spaces. So if you're a content creator and you'd like to host some meetings, some conferences and all that, all you have to do is to get on Twitter, register, and get on ticketed spaces, and you can earn up to almost $50,000.
Wow.
And what Twitter is saying is that now they're going to charge just 3%.
Yeah.
Well, of course, there's going to be the Apple fee and the Google fee when you download the app. And then Twitter is going to charge nothing more than 3%. But they say that if you earn up to a total of $50,000, they are going to be taking 20%.
Okay.
Sister, 20% is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of
they
money.
Need to make their money as well. They know the powers content creators now hold. I told you that story about a child, saying at school that they wanted to become an influencer and a content creator. I mean, this is a way of making your money.
$50,000 is a lot of money. Imagine I can make that in a month.
Exactly.
Ooh, my goodness. Well, so that's just about it for Coffee Daily. Edma?
Yes, so now we are going to take a deep dive into the world of entertainment and showbiz with Kavoy. Stay tuned.
Wow, God, people, it's Monday. It's a beautiful Monday morning and the weekend is over, guys. I'm sorry. It's work day today. Guys, what's going on?
No, I'm just admiring you right now. I mean, it's that time for me to just admire
the
outfit
Edma,
and everything.
I'm starting to think it's me. That's nice. I'm starting to
Edma and Kevo, I just don't understand you.
Sorry, you're always the middleman as well.
Always.
In between our conversation, I'm sorry.
But is it tomorrow? You should sit on this side.
Yes, I will. So the conversation goes directly to you. I'll definitely
Have you seen Kevo's picture on Twitter? His DP, his Twitter profile picture?
No, I haven't.
Dude, it's fine, man.
Which one?
I'm going to go and check it out.
Your Twitter picture.
My Twitter picture?
Yeah, man. Have you seen it?
My Twitter
I'm sure it was like from years ago. It was fresh.
Years ago. Years ago. Because I haven't touched Twitter. I don't.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not a big.
You forgot your password?
No. I'm not a big.
You use something Tar,
right?
John Tar or something?
John Tar, because it's Jon Snow from.
Because
I'm black.
So John
Tar.
I get it. Okay, come on, take us away.
Just cool about it. Hey guys, this is MXPX Lifestyle and Entertainment. You don't know, we bring you the highlights in entertainment and lifestyle in Ghana and of course around the world. And our stories today, Stonebwoy performs at the Yam Festival. Get there. The Donda album is out, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at KevoyB. You understand? Now let's get into our stories. Now it seems that after his Afrofest in New York, Stonebwoy jetted across the Atlantic to London. There he performed at the Yam Festival. In addition, the dancehall artist got a chance to meet the High Commissioner of Ghana to the UK. Woyoy. Other artists present included King Promise, Davido, Pato Rankin, and so many more. But let's take a look at the highlights of the performance.
Yeah, we do have. I mean, I feel like all the English-speaking Western countries, we do tend to have a lot of Nigerians and Ghanaians. But then when you go to places like France, you have like loads of Senegalese, Malians, Cameroons, and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
Nungwa Chris Brown was doing his thing, man. That's our own Chris Brown. From
we love him, and I love the way people were just singing along to his music. As a performer, I would be proud. I'm like, wow, my song has crossed borders, and people actually really do know about my song. Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, now big artist again. Burna Boy is back with the concerts. The African giant took over the O2 Arena for one of the biggest in-person concerts since the pandemic hit. Now, he was joined by other Nigerian artists who made guest appearances on his set, including Wizkid and Rima. Girl, I'm in love with your booty bounce. I like that song. This concert was part of the O2 Welcome Back show in celebration of being able to have a semi-normal life. Now, several other artists are set to headline their own O2 Arena event, including Wizkid. Hey, I like Wizkid, you know. Tell me that's the essence. Hey. Hear ye, Usain Bolt, ladies and gentlemen, is a musician. I knew this months ago. See? Now, Usain Bolt is one of the top sprinters worldwide and has announced his debut album is set to drop on Friday, September 3rd. Titled Country Youths, the Jamaican sprinter has been retired since 2017 and seems to have branched into something different. He shared on his social media that his album will soon come. But first, he has a single out, so let's take a look.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
We've been having a blast in the studio. Wow, I'm actually tired from dancing.
For some reason, I thought the song was going to be rubbish. Though.
Yeah, but it was quite nice. I really did enjoy it.
It's Jamaican, so you know Jamaicans when they jump on the beats.
We like to party.
Hey, Kevin, when are you taking me to Jamaica after watching that video?
April, don't worry, my brother. April of
next
2022.
I'm
We're going to the carnival.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
tagging along, by the way.
Of course.
No, we are going to spoil our chances over there.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it has finally arrived. After several months, 4 album listening sessions, sleeping in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and controversial guest appearances, Kanye West has finally dropped the Donda album. Woyoy. The album contains a solid 27 songs and is over 100 minutes, featuring a long list of artists from a variety of genres. However, fans are very scared that the rapper could change his mind and suddenly remove the songs. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I mean, it's Kanye West.
It's Kanye West.
Exactly.
You can't expect anything.
It's one
You can't
of his
expect
albums.
anything. Have you listened to the album?
No, I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, but some of the tweets that came in, somebody said, after listening to Kanye West's Donda album, I realized that Sarkodie is the best rapper in the world.
Why?
Yes, I was
to be honest,
Sarkodie was on the album.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I know that, you see, not every single person can understand Kanye's creativity.
Absolutely.
Not every single person would understand it, and those who understand his creativity would appreciate the album. But I'm yet to listen to. I'm going to do that today.
After saying this, I really like for lunch.
Thank you.
You're very smart.
Thank you, my
Honestly,
darling.
Kanye West is a different artist.
Yes, altogether.
He's
crazy.
He's almost esoteric. But that's fine. It's all right.
Yeah, man.
Right. Yeah, so now my patois for today. Today's motivational
give it to
Mondays.
us, bro.
So I will give you a speech. Well, not a speech, like a little quote from Jamaica.
Okay.
So it says, every mickle make a muckle.
Every mickle make a muck.
Make a muckle.
Make a muckle.
Yeah.
Every mickle. It's like,
Okay, so like the smallest things contribute to the biggest
so it adds
thing.
up. So it adds up.
little
and
drops
it
of
makes-
water make a mighty ocean.
So
Yes.
take your time.
Hey, today I'm tweeting
Yeah,
it.
one step, you eventually get to your destination.
Every mickle makes a muckle.
Every mickle make a muckle.
Okay, so let me say
Every
it's pattern.
mickle make a muckle.
Yeah.
Every mickle make a muckle. It's like
Yeah. That's like just
Pita
like
pata.
pick a.
Pata.
Every mickle make a muckle. Oh, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What's our key word for him today? Should we give him a quote too?
Yes.
take your time.
Okay.
Please, the fancy girl will give you a quote from.
No, hold on. I was going to. Okum apema apembeba.
Hey, Charlie.
Every mickle make a muckle. Let's go.
Wukum apema apembeba.
All right, let's do it in half.
Okay.
Wukuma pema
Apembeba.
apimeba.
Yes.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Kill 10,000, 10,000 will come.
Really?
Shit, man.
Asante kotoko.
Wukuma pema
Apembeba.
apimeba.
So there you have it.
There you have it.
So you never fall. When you go down, you come back up again.
Exactly.
Basically, that's what it means.
Yes.
Makes
man.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yo, my daily dose of vim.
Guys, thank you guys for having me today.
You're absolutely
You
welcome.
guys have a wonderful show for the rest of the day.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
bringing the
Yeah,
ginger as usual and the
you don't
energy.
think I come here to ginger everybody.
Little why?
Yeah, man. Hey, guys, bless up.
Okay, so that's about it for Coffee Daily today. Stay with us because we are going to have a quick break and then we are going to delve deeper into hiring right and improving work efficiency post-COVID. You do not want to miss that one. Stay with us.
A song I'd love to share with you today. Come on and sing along.
Look what I'm doing, do it just like me. Look what I'm doing, spin around with me. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing, come and brush with me. Come and brush with me.
The news that matters the most is the news that hits closest to home. Politics, business, lifestyle, entertainment, whatever. Once it breaks, we are there.
If it touches you, your family, your community, or your safety, we've got it covered. You need to know what is happening in and around Ghana and on the international scene.
This is MX24 News.
Across Africa, nations are beginning to trade among themselves like never before, creating the largest continental market the world has ever seen. On the Single African Market Program, we will show you how products, services, capital and people will be crossing barriers as the continent and its citizens embrace a single market in a sustainable manner for growth and development to meet targeted UN development goals.
Congratulations, Your Excellency.
Get the latest update on all opportunities from the Continent's Trade House. Know the success stories and how challenges are being addressed. Africa is ready to trade among itself and the world, so are the people. The Single African Market is the voice of businesses that trumpets the vision of Africa everywhere, in association with the Government of Ghana, International Chamber of Commerce, Business for Peace Foundation, GIZ, UNECA, and UNDP.
The Single African Market, this Monday at 8 p.m. on MX24.
Opinions are like onions. Everybody has one.
Abortion is a no-no. As a human being, you must take responsibility for all your actions and inactions. Your misjudgment shouldn't be enough grounds to take a life.
No. I disagree with you because look, if you do not legalize it, people will go to quack doctors anyway who might end up not just kill the baby but the mother as well.
Why should I waste my time, join a long queue under the hot sun to vote for a political party, knowing very well that nothing would be achieved at the end of the day?
Something will be achieved. It's your civic responsibility to turn out to vote. Vote and vote for a good leader.
Governments need to cater to every graduate, diversify the economy, invest in other sectors.
But the government cannot do it all. That is why we need the youth to take up the mantle and set up their own businesses. That is how we will create economic viability.
Here on Opposing Views, we take your views, my views, and the views of the experts and put them in the right context for you, our discerning viewers.
Hello guys and welcome to Home Fit. Home Fit is a fitness show designed to take care of all your fitness needs. I'm your trainer Brad and I will be taking you through a series of workouts. After a great workout, let's talk nutrition.
Hey, Abrantia, Aketesia, Ibi Family, Chale, MX24. My baby, my say baby, about them people that do Mumma and bad.
Hey guys, this is the girl Bashasha.
This is the best MC, best hype man in Ghana 2020. I beg you success, the highest MC. Keep watching MX24.
It is fun, it is fearless, it is factual.
Meson, ni besibia, meson.
Welcome back, and this is still the AM Club on MX24, and it's now time for Lifestyle Daily. And today we'll be discussing hiring right and improving work efficiency amidst COVID-19. We will look at what the industry looks out for in hiring employees, the relevance of academic certificates in the job market, and also look at practical steps to improve working relations among staffs and ultimately improve efficiency in organizations. And joining me in this conversation, we have human resource professional Louis George Hesse Odamten. We also have the HR strategist and business and leadership consultant Emmeline Date. Welcome to the show. But before we start the conversation, do make sure that you send your WhatsApp messages to our WhatsApp line 0550 331-511. The number is going to appear on the TV screens. Let me take that again, 0550-331-511. And do make sure that you send your live tweets as you follow the conversation at MX24GH on all our social media platforms with the hashtag #TheAMClub. Shall we start the conversation? Sure. Yes, so I'm here with Emmeline, which I know very well, and Mr. Louis, which I also know very well. So I hope this conversation is going to be very educative and informative as well, especially for people who have businesses or who want to join a business or an organization. So now, today we want to talk about hiring right and hiring the right employees and how to make work efficient in an organization or company. So when we say hiring right, what exactly does that mean?
Okay, all right. So thanks very much for the question. Of course, every business or every individual at a point would have to hire some people at a point. Most people will start as what we call the solopreneur. Okay, they'll be doing everything by themselves, but it gets to a point where there's so much one person can do. So it gets to a point where you have to bring people on to move the business to a point. And in some instances, some business owners are tempted to believe that adding to the numbers would make the business grow, but it's far from the truth. You have to make sure you bring the right people on board. So that's where the concept of hiring right, comes in. Okay, so Emmeline, what's your take on that as well?
Okay, so in addition to what Louis has said, hiring right is basically hiring to fit culture. Yeah. Many, like he said, the mistake a lot of business owners or business leaders make is they think that by hiring numbers, it makes your business effective. But no, usually you need to have a strategic plan. That is why any company that doesn't have an HR strategy would not recruit right. So you must have a recruitment plan, a recruitment strategy, which must connect to business objectives. Now times have changed. So if you don't take care, you end up hiring and you notice that a lot of jobs are no more relevant or the jobs have been tweaked. So you need to understand, first it starts from engineering your business and then getting the right people to fit in the business. So for example, if your company is more technology biased than manual, you cannot hire people who are not technology savvy. Absolutely. So you need to understand where you're going to and hire the people that are going the same way. Not forgetting, you don't hire people and train them for attitude. Make sure you hire people with the right attitude. Every other thing is workable. Once they are willing, they will be able if you empower them.
So coming back on that, because I remember, well, I'm sure everybody has been to a job interview once at least in their life. And my last job that I had before moving to Ghana eventually, it was more like they were looking for people who had the right character more than people who had the skill for the job, because they felt like the skill could be learned. But the character is something that a person owns and you cannot change. So does that also fit into hiring right? Absolutely. But then how do you know that the person has the right character? Is it based on conversation or what?
Okay, it's quite tricky, because you really don't know anybody until they come on board. Absolutely. That is the reason why we do background checks. Okay. I'm sure before you came here, it's possible that they did a background check without you even knowing. I remember I worked for, even as a consultant, I was told by a client that she had done a background check and the feedback she got, that's why she has the confidence to work with me. Okay. So it's normally like that. So if more than one person say the same thing about Louis, obviously, and they're not connected, then you know obviously that is Louis' character. So background checks help a lot. I think that's basically it. But people also need to understand that human beings are human beings. They're emotional people. That is why every contract has a probation clause. The probation clause is usually the part where you're supposed to use to you know, confirm if what your background referee said is true or not.
True, yeah.
But more importantly, relying on background checks will help. If you have the mindset that you can't trust people, you won't get anybody to work with. So you must give people the benefit of the doubt at least. But when they know the kind of person you are, I must say that employers will attract the kind of people they are.
Okay.
So if you have it, you are an employer with the right spirit, the right attitude or energy.
Yeah.
More often than not, you attract your client.
Okay, so Louis, I know that right now, I mean, especially when we come to Ghana here, there isn't that much jobs in the public or private sectors. But how important is it for employees also, or people who want to work for an organization, to make sure that they do their own research about the company that they're joining, and not necessarily because the job is available or the job is there?
Of course, when it comes to recruitment, it's a two-way street. In as much as the organization is trying to size up the employee to see whether the employee would be the right person for the organization, the employee is also supposed to do the same thing. So I always advise candidates to make sure they do a lot of background checks on the organization. Don't forget the organization is also checking up on you. Get to understand the culture, get to understand the leadership style, and even by extension, you would even have to put so many things into consideration. If you are moving from one employment to the other, then you have to look at the time it will take you to commute, a whole lot of things, coming. So you don't just go into an employment. You have to do a lot of checks. And by way of hiring right, also to add a little to what Edma has said, there's also the financial aspect, because before you go out to hire someone, you need to have a justification for that employment, you need to have an objective for that recruitment. You should be working with within some time frame, because don't forget, everything has to do with time. So if maybe the hiring department wants an employee within a particular time frame, and you are not on top of the sourcing, techniques, Edma and Co are there to help you to shorten the time of getting an employee on board. So if you get the right person, but at the wrong time, then you may not have hired right. And by extension, also, you need to give yourself some time, because you can't finish a recruitment today and want to assume you've hired right. Up to the point where you have done the orientation, you have done everything, the person has settled in, and the person has stayed, let's say, 3 years on, 5 years on.
I thought it was like a six-month window.
No.
6 months is too short.
It goes up to a particular point. So what happens if somebody comes into an organization and leaves within the 6 months? You can't say you've hired, right? Certainly there was a little bit of a disconnect between the employee and the organization. So it travels along the line.
All right, so now we all know that we are in the midst of epidemic, and we can't even talk about post-COVID because it's still not post-COVID. We're still very much yet within it, and businesses have found an innovative way of hiring people and also of working to meet their task and their target by the end of the month or by the end of the year. How different has COVID now impacted businesses in terms of hiring right? Because we found out that now businesses are closing down. They don't feel like they need offices anymore. They don't feel like there's any need of having a certain amount of employees now, because some of them can be working from home and all of that. So how has COVID impacted hiring right right now, our day-to-day age right now?
Of course, most hiring managers are going digital when it comes to recruitment. And for the COVID situation, it's interesting. In as much as it's having adverse effects on some businesses, it's also tending to give certain favorable opportunities. So it depends on which side you are on the number line. It may be good for you, it may be bad for you, but at the end of the day, you have to do what the HR person would say, some sort of HR planning, around the situation. So it will let you know whether your human resources are in deficit or they are in surplus, depending on, like I said, how COVID is impacting on your business. If you are in the telcos, I'm sure for now, you'll be smiling because people are consuming data and talk time even more. So your HR planning will be centered on bringing more people on board. Perhaps even if you don't want to hire, but the strategy you want to use, you may want to resort to overtime work, or perhaps outsourcing some, functions. So it depends on where you are. But when it comes to recruitment, coming back to your question, most hiring managers or consultants are what they call depending on Zoom and all the online techniques that they are for the basic aspect, perhaps to go through the pre-screening stages and all. But it gets to a point where the in-person will have to happen, because at that point you have to study the mannerisms and all that.
Okay, Evelyn, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, he's dropped some solid points, and there's one thing the father of HR says, David Ulrich. He says that an HR, I will paraphrase, for an HR professional to be successful, you need to understand the perspective of the customer.
Absolutely.
Now, COVID first of all affected people before you even think about segmenting them. Now, businesses exist because of customers. So if customers have been affected by COVID, then obviously it will affect the company you're recruiting. It will affect your processes and your systems. And so you think about what your customer needs, and then you now think about where to find the people. Now, like you said, the platform, LinkedIn has been there for a long time. A lot of people have neglected LinkedIn. But if you've been there before, you'll be reaping your harvest now.
Yes,
that's true. So now people, you don't even need to bring a CV. Most of the multinationals will say, just apply, and they just take in your...
Yes, you add your CV to your LinkedIn.
And if you've been very smart by updating or sharing stories of your professional success, it's not a big deal at all.
Absolutely.
And then now LinkedIn has a point for people recommending you, referrals and everything. You basically trust people on LinkedIn. So the COVID has actually come to re-emphasize the need to pay attention to technology tools and platforms to save you the stress of getting people to just come in. And I mean, when the COVID hit, you could not recruit people to come in like before.
Of course.
It was all Zoom meeting, Skype and whatever. The fantastic thing too is that now you don't have to recruit people in Ghana. Now I'll say this, and I hope every potential employee is listening or employee is listening. If you're lazy at the job, the competition is bigger for you. Now we have virtual assistants. I don't know if you heard that word before. They don't need to sit in your office. They can do everything they want to do for you. Even front desk. You can have a front desk centralized. You don't need to have a physical one. So employees in Ghana need to understand that this is just an introduction. Going into the future, it's going to be tougher. So that is the impact of COVID on recruitment now.
But, okay, so now we've spoken about the impact of COVID on recruitment. And would you say that in a few years to come, there's going to be less and less people eventually working manually, and technology is going to do the bit for us?
I would say that technology... Okay, I'm not an advocate or supporter of technology wiping away humankind from working. At the end of the day, any country that thrives on that will not be doing its people any good. But what I can say is it will tweak the way jobs are done. So what has happened is that every job now has an element of technology in it. So what we used to do before that was manual on the job now has become digitalized. HR, for example, now have HR robotics, HR analytics, digital HR. There's even social HR now, because every employee is on social media. In those days, employers used to frown on employees being on. Now you have no choice.
I mean, they use it as a form of background checks as
absolutely,
well.
Absolutely. So you cannot play with it, and that is where you see people's real
character.
Nobody. Though we have pretenders, that people out of every pretense there's some reality in it. So now HR has evolved. So the normal HR used to do, the only thing that HR now, I think the function of HR is relevant, even in technology, is the OD, organizational development. Because you're going to still deal with people. But then every other thing is digitalized. So that is one of the things. We're not saying human race will be wiped out from the jobs, but jobs will be reshaped towards change.
So in that sense, Louis, how do people who would then go forward to look for a job know the right thing to do so that they will fit that category in terms of the innovation that comes with hiring and the requirements that also comes with hiring?
I think Edma has said a lot in that area. The world of work is changing so much. So even before COVID hit, I mean, the last time I dropped an advert in the dailies, I had about 300 plus people applying for it. Then there hadn't been so many job cards like we have it here. So now that a lot of people have lost their jobs, their home and all, once a role comes up, trust me, 2 times the number will be chasing it. So once you get into that space, you don't have to, joke with things. If you are looking for employment, it will basically start with your CV. You wouldn't be there to answer the question. The hiring manager will first and foremost look at your CV. And imagine me in my office trying to close and go home to do other things, faced with reviewing 300 CVs. I may not have the time to spend more than 2 minutes to do the first shortlisting.
Yeah.
I mean, Emma will tell you, we would shortlist in stages.
Yeah.
You would drop from 300 to 200, 200 to like 150, and then it comes to the 50 you want to share with the hiring manager to also drill things down and all. So your CV should be very clear and easy to scan through. The key word is scanning through, because the first thing will be to scan. Now also, if you are sending your CV from an email, then your email has to be professional enough. Don't forget, the person doesn't know you.
Not the bootylicious 1, 2, 3, 4,
no. Or the Rude Boy 2001. It should be professional, And then also, your CV should speak to the job.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not asking people to lie about their CVs, but if you pick Ohima, there are so many aspects of yourself that can't fit on your CV because of what you are doing now. But if a company was looking for, should I say, a head of, should I say, bakery or something, or a head of a hotel for which you are interested in, then you have to put every experience or qualification you have in that area, in there. So once you are going to look for a job, you have to put, your best foot forward.
Okay, so now talking about what you need to have as a person looking for a job, how much, when it comes to academic qualifications, how important are these when it comes to applying for a job? Because, I mean, we've seen a lot of people who have a degree in, for example, IT, and I'm one of them, by the way. So right now, I'm talking about myself. You have a degree in maybe one sector and you're doing something totally different. So how important are academic qualifications in our hiring days these days?
Yes, it's a very good question. Every job, regardless of which sector, which industry, about 3 key things would go into it. Now, even the HR people, I'm sure Emma came up with that, have added a 4th one they call the other characteristics. But the first 3 things will have to do with the knowledge, the skills, and then the abilities, which is abbreviated to sound SKAs. You understand? So the knowledge bit is what would come from your academic qualification. Of course, you can't profess to have knowledge, theoretical knowledge in an area and not have qualification to show for it. So it's very important in the scheme of things. But then it's not the sole determining factor of whether you get a job or not. The skill is very important. Of course, if you are looking for the job of being
sorry, does the skill also go with experience, or is 2 different things?
The skill, well, it will come with the years or the experience. It comes with it. So the skill is very important, of course. If you want to be on this show as the host and you claim to have all the theoretical knowledge, then there should be some qualification or some certification from GIJ or any institution that awards. Oh, okay, I should have mentioned a different. Just for the example, you should have that certificate to show that Ohima has gone through this learning process and is competent enough to host this program. Then you should have the skill, which, like I say, will come from the experience you've gathered along, the line. And then also the abilities will come in. Of course, to host this show, you should be able to sit down for 2 hours, non-stop. If you are someone who can't sit for more than an hour because of some underlying factor, then it becomes an issue. So knowledge you can't, take out of the equation. It may sound as though it is not always the case, but it's a primary selection criteria.
Okay, so in terms of when there are exceptions, what exceptions can the person have in terms of, okay, maybe they did not study journalism, for example. Let me use myself as an example. I did not study journalism, however, I am here hosting a show, and I have 2 different degrees that has nothing to do with what I'm doing at the moment. But then in that sense, due to the experience that I've had on TV, because of an opportunity that was given to me initially, I can now do this job great, I hope. Okay, so in that case, what can we see in that person to give them an opportunity that maybe might not have anything to do with the qualification or even the experience that they have initially?
Okay, so a lot of jobs are tuned in a way that if you don't have the certification or knowledge training from the structured or formal education sector, you can still find your way on those jobs. And that's why I would say attitude. Talent is important, attitude is higher. Now, in my 6 years in media, we've hired a lot of people who didn't have a background in, but talent is key here. It's not for this industry. Somebody just comes, walks up to you and says, I want a job here, and right from the way the person speaks, remember, you have a radio voice. Are you on radio? Are you on TV? So that's for the creative industry example. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of formal education for like this area. Even with the GIJs, it's more theoretical than practical. So when they come to TV, you now have to do on-the-job training. So that is where companies now, like you said, it's not just about certificates. Now you come on the job and they train you. If you are now, there are three kinds of employees. We have the potential. I would say employees with potential. We have those with high potential, and the MVPs. Now, mostly, or the least you look for is someone with the potential. If that person has potential, given a chance in less than a week, the person will pick it up. High potential, boom, MVP. Oh my God! So it depends on what is on the inside. If you are willing to also work on yourself, that is why I keep telling young people: don't wait for your school or your lecturers. In Ghana, it's unfortunate our education system is still work in process or improvement, in progress rather. But then, what are you doing for yourself? Are you taking charge of your life? Like you said, I'm sure before you came to GH1, when you were there, before you came here, you must have practiced.
Yes, of
I used to follow you on social media.
Yes.
I see the things she does. And you know what helps someone like her? Her experience in the world of communication. Not the kind of, but she's been a business person and entrepreneur. When I saw on TV, I knew, woo, she's going to make it. But if you come, even if you go to GIJ, empty, with nothing green, you come out with all the thoughts and you don't add value to yourself. Me, Emily, when you come to me, you have no choice. You get a point. So it has to do with you. So your certificate does not add value to you, add value to your certificate. So always understand it from that point and you have it easier for you.
Quote of the day: your certificate does not add value to you, you add value to the certificate. Okay, so we are going to open our phone lines now, so do make sure that you call us on 0550-331-511, 0550-331-551. The number is going to show on our TV screens or your TV screen, so do make sure that you give us a call and share your thoughts on today's topic. Okay, so Louis, okay, so we've spoken a lot about how what you need in terms of going for a job. But then would you say that academic system or even curriculum in Ghana here does not permit students to eventually learn the practical way of going for a job and expressing themselves or bringing the best out of themselves during an interview? Because we've had a lot of situations where people will go for an interview, and I've witnessed this myself, and even the way they are dressed, it's not appropriate for an interview. The shoes that they are wearing, the way they look, they are not ready for an interview because they do not know any better. So would you say that curriculum here in Ghana needs to impose some type of education or even create some type of awareness in terms of when the students are done with education, now they're ready, or prepare them for the world of work? Would you say that?
It's a very good question. If my mask was off, you realize I was smiling when you were asking the question. Yes. You know, Emma is a witness. I've been on so many platforms that are actually free for people in the early stages of their career to come and learn, you know, what it takes, you know, to perform well at an interview, how to, you know, draft your CV, and all. But most won't show up. Emma, correct me if I'm wrong. And so taking it away from the, what do you call it, the educational system, assuming the tertiary institution came up with one Saturday, that look, we are setting the Saturday aside for CV preparation and then interviewing skill training. It will amaze you the number of people who would show up. If we said there was a Coachella, Sarkodie's album. Yes.
Coachella.
Good.
Afrochella, yes.
Then they will show up in their numbers. But it's good for, you know, young people, of which most are children and, you know, younger siblings, to appreciate the fact that, look, you don't just come to the job, you know, what do you call it, the working environment to your raw self.
Yes.
You have to add some value, you know, to yourself. And so that's where I'll look at it from. So let's even take it away from the lectures. If you permit me right now, I'm sure Edma has the phone. Go on LinkedIn and you see the number of free, you know, seminars and in that area, and check, you know, how many people have been there. I've been partnering with an institution who has been running this program called Start Right for I think about 6 years or so. It was when the COVID came that it interrupted everything. It's been free. Organizations are sponsoring most of the aspects of it. It's just for these target audience to bring their bodies there and to even push the program. It's been stated that most of the HR gurus will be there. Come and meet them, get to know what they want, and people don't, you know, show up. So it's more of an interest from the target, you know, group, and not what is being done from the other side. If they are watching, I'm sure they would testify to this fact.
Yes. So I went to a school that had a structure, a system that trained you from dressing to the world of work. So for me, I had an advantage. But I had colleagues who were not interested. So you were given opportunities to go for internships. Even on campus, there's work and study.
Yeah.
So it was those who were desperate, which wasn't supposed to be. So if it felt like as if those who didn't have money to pay fees would be the ones to do that call. But no, it was supposed to be a learning opportunity for you before you go into the world of work. But like you said, the level of interest wasn't there. But you know what? If you told the same people that once you come for this training, there's a job. So those who do well, it is what's that thing called? Entitled attitude. That is a problem with this generation. So if you notice where most of us are coming from, we struggle to be where we are. We didn't have free training. We didn't have LinkedIn in those days. We had to hustle to get here. Now we have decided that, listen, we don't want you guys to suffer. Let me show you, let's give you an easier way, a more improved way to make it. But like I said, the interest isn't there. So the regular Ghanaian wants to succeed but not pay the price. So it will be very unfair if we only put the blame on the government. If they really put that thing in place, you and I know that, even in the employment sector, some of our colleagues are not serious, but some are serious. So it's an attitude issue we have and we need to change. If not, you can't blame anybody for your situation.
Yeah.
And then maybe to add to that, I'm sure a few of the listeners out there may not have, for one reason or the other, may not have come across, an opportunity like that. So I am putting Edma on the spot, just in case there are some people out there who want to be taken through something of a sort, because the promotion of these events
is very important.
Yes,
like everyone is talking about.
Yes. So you can put all of them together, and then at a time that is convenient for myself and Edma, we may take them.
Maybe MX24 can start a program.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
No, I'm sure perhaps the promotion, because all these young people and where they hang out. For you know, these programs are being sponsored on LinkedIn where they don't hang out. They're mostly on the Facebooks and the IG. So a lot of them may have missed it. For which reason, maybe we'll take the responsibility of not taking the program to their doorstep. So if they are interested through watching of this show, they can raise their hands and then we can extend to them.
All right,
myself and Edma.
Okay, so now I'm going to put both of you on the spot now. I mean, there was a time where many years ago, I don't know if it's still the case now, but there was a time where HR was literally non-existent in Ghana, in a sense that, I mean, even if you want to apply for a job, I remember before I wanted to move to Ghana, I decided to get a job before moving to Ghana, because I felt like, okay, what's the point, to move to Ghana and then now start looking for a job? What if I'm here for a year and I do not have a job yet? And I remember going on many websites and applying for many jobs in Ghana here, and I don't think even one got back to me. And I you know, sometimes when you apply for a job, maybe for a foreign company, they do send you an email back saying, sorry, you did not make the cut. I didn't even get any of that. So how is the HR sector in Ghana building up now? Is it getting better? Is it getting more innovative? Is it improving? What would you say that, have you seen any difference for the past few years now?
Okay, for that,
okay, sorry, not to cut you short. We have our first caller. We have Brad from Kumasi. Hello, Brad.
Hello.
Hello, Brad. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Frank, not Frank.
Okay, Frank. Sorry for that. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. So what do you have to say about today's topic?
Yes, I want to make a little contribution. It's actually in respect to the education relative to your experience. Okay. Hello?
Yes, I am listening.
Yes. I want to say something with respect to education relative to your experience.
Okay.
I think usually it has to do with where you find yourself, and then the orientation of the panel when you attend an interview. From a personal experience, I'm in the procurement of supply chain, right? I've headed so many institutions as a procurement officer, but then I didn't even have, how do you call it, a degree in procurement. Okay. My first position was, how do you call it, from a recommendation. I mean, somebody recommended me. Okay. Of course, I've been studying some people, some, how do you call it, procurement professionals for some time. But then my first position as a procurement manager was out of a recommendation from somebody. Okay. Now, subsequently, I had applied for several jobs where the panel sometimes were very strict about my qualification. Even though per my experience, I was more than qualified. But they pinned everything on the qualification. All right. In fact, I even remember some interview I attended where I virtually had to correct some of the questions they asked me because I realized, I mean, professional-wise, they were not good, the panel. They weren't good. Just had to help them reframe some of the questions and all that.
And did you get that particular job? Did you get it?
No, because they told me, go help from you. Later they called and said, we are sorry, we wanted somebody who has a degree and all that. But what I can say that Ghana, when you attend job interviews in Ghana, where the companies usually belong to Ghanaians, they are more strict on the qualification. But then when you happen to attend job interviews where the companies belong to foreigners, sometimes they don't even care. They want to. They are more particular about what you can do and not what's on the paper, what's on the certificate. I have over 15 years of experience in supply chain procurement. I've seen a lot in this industry. But then trust me, I've attended interviews where they will tell you, hey, because you didn't have, so I had to go and do masters just to have the certificate. Not for it, but just to have the certificate because I realized it's going to make me more competitive. Okay, but honestly, it didn't add anything to my experience. Right? Yes.
Okay,
so,
well,
I don't know if you can do something about it, but it's also very difficult, I understand, because the hiring manager is not God to see or know what you can do from looking at your face. And so your certificate serves as a basis for him to do something. But I don't know. There should be a thin line between that. Some people should be given the opportunity to prove themselves.
Absolutely,
anyway.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Frank. And I agree. I think companies should sometimes, you know, like you mentioned, Emma, when you see the potential there, regardless of, you know, the qualification, sometimes an opportunity must be given. I mean, you know, sometimes, especially in the oil and gas industry, when you apply for a job, it's like, do you have 7 years of experience? Do you have 10 years of experience? And I know that it's an industry that you have to build your way from the bottom up. But then if that opportunity is not given to you, how are you supposed to then build yourself?
Okay. So I would like to come in there. Like I said from the beginning, hiring right is it's an entire process. Sometimes even your system and structure will impact on your recruitment drive. If you have, like he's saying, our listener is saying that he's a procurement expert and all, if I'm bringing you into an organization where there are good enough people to coach and mentor, I don't have a problem. But if there's an absence of some of these qualified people, that means you should also be bringing, you know, something extra to the table. Of course, there are instances where also people may have found themselves, he may not have the qualification, but when you look at the CV, the person has things that are related. So even in the, what do you call it, person specification, you realize that sometimes the HR people will say, is it related field? So it may come from wherever. So it depends on the recruitment structure and then system, you know, available. And then also the time frame. Some organizations may have the time and the, what do you call it, the resources to train. Others may not have. So it depends on which organization you are speaking with.
Okay, so let me quickly read some of our live tweets here. At Diana Mabel said, it appears that every place is hiring people. They are just not hiring me. Hashtag the AM Club. Okay, Kiki Joshua also said, when hiring, make decisions based on what someone else has done, not based on what they say. The overemphasis on how someone communicates is usually misleading. Hashtag the AM Club. At Gloria Joy said, no matter how good you are at hiring, some of your hires won't work out. Know how the people you're considering operate and visualize how they would produce successful results, knowing that they did not value only insofar as it helps you figure out what they are like. Hashtag the AM Club. Okay, so let me take one more. Let me take one WhatsApp message. So this person says, good morning, I'm Charles from Tema. My only problem is, why do we ask for 2 to 5 years working experience from fresh graduates and unemployed / depressed youth? Let's ask ourselves, if the unemployment individual is comfortable with his or her previous jobs with the working experience, will they quit to yours? We need to make things flexible in Ghana. I'm currently unemployed simply because I don't meet the 3 or more working experience. Thank you. I'm really enjoying the conversation. We need more of this. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us. And I am going to quickly wrap up the conversation. Hopefully we're going to have another extensive conversation about this, because I am enjoying it. And I know that you did not answer the question about HR doing better because we had a phone call.
Okay. Oh, I think that we missed that bit. The bit about HR's not responding.
If they're improving, yes, or if they've improved over the years.
Yes, the call interrupted that bit.
But quickly, in 20 seconds.
Okay, so it just has to do with the volumes of applications that are coming in. And I think this part of the world, we are quick to send in application. You may be asking for a procurement officer, like our listener called in to say, and then people who have no knowledge about procurement will apply. So it makes the application quite voluminous. So the HR can, especially when there's absence of system, can respond to all of these people. So when you look at the bottom bit of the advert, it will only tell you the shortlisted people will be contacted. I think that does justice, though it can be improved.
Okay. Well, Emmeline, do you have any final words?
Yes, I would want to refer to one of the quotes or the comments. If you're home and you keep saying that you don't have a job because you don't have years of experience, create it. And where I am today, not because I had years of experience from working, but from free work.
Yes.
Volunteer a lot. It will give you a heads up.
Okay.
Opportunities won't always come. Create it. Stop giving yourself excuses. If we're to go for VGMAs today, you'll get the money to buy a new dress and you'll get there. Use your time in the house, go and work for free, find a way, make a way, you'll get there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that. Volunteering is also a very, very good thing to do, or even going for internship and things like that to gain the experience that you need. Well, this was Lifestyle Daily on the AM Club live on MX24. My name is Edma Himalawe, and we're about to wrap up Lifestyle Daily, but we're coming back with today's hashtag Motivation Monday. Stay with us.
Underarms. You don't usually think about them. You protect them from sweat and odor, but that's not enough. What they need is something that takes care of them, so they feel good whatever you put them through. Introducing Dove Antiperspirant. It goes beyond 48-hour protection, giving you long-lasting dryness and soft, smooth underarms. Dove Antiperspirant cares for your underarm skin like never before.
Across Africa, nations are beginning to trade among themselves like never before. creating the largest continental market the world has ever seen. On the Single African Market Program, we will show you how products, services, capital and people will be crossing barriers as the continent and its citizens embrace a single market in a sustainable manner for growth and development to meet targeted UN development goals.
Congratulations, Your Excellency.
Get the latest update on all opportunities from the Continent's Trade House. Know the success stories and how challenges are being addressed. Africa is ready to trade among itself and the world, so are the people. The Single African Market is the voice of businesses that trumpets the vision of Africa everywhere, in association with the Government of Ghana, International Chamber of Commerce, Business for Peace Foundation, GIZ, UNECA and UNDP.
The Single African Market, this Monday at 8 p.m. on MX24.
Opinions are like onions. Everybody has one.
Abortion is a no-no. As a human being, you must take responsibility for all your actions and inactions. Your misjudgment shouldn't be enough grounds to take a life.
No. I disagree with you because look, if you do not legalize it, people will go to quack doctors anyway who might end up not just kill the baby but the mother as well.
Why should I waste my time, join a long queue under the hot sun to vote for a political party, knowing very well that nothing would be achieved at the end of the day?
Something will be achieved. It's your civic responsibility to turn out to vote. Vote and vote for a good leader.
Governments need to cater to every graduate, diversify the economy, invest in other sectors.
But the government cannot do it all. That is why we need the youth to take up the mantle and set up their own businesses. That is how we will create economic viability.
Here on Opposing Views, we take your views, my views, and the views of the experts and put them in the right context for you, our discerning viewers.
Hey, Abrantia, Aketesia, Ibi Family, Chale, MX24. My baby, my say baby, about them people they do Mumma and bad.
Hey guys, this is your girl Bishasha.
This is the best MC, best hype man in Ghana 2020. I beg you success, the highest MC. Keep watching MX24.
It is fun, it is fearless, it is factual.
Meson, ni besibia, meson.
And welcome back to the AM Club, broadcasting live from the Silicon Square here in East Legon. My name is Godwin Namboh. Just passed by was an insightful conversation with HR consultant and my colleague Edma Ohimala. We're talking about the world of work. But moving away from that, remember, before we get into our conversation on our hashtag daily, you can send us a message on our WhatsApp line 055 0331511, 055 0331511, or you can hashtag your comments coming in on social media with the AM Club at MX20 for GH. It's now time for my favorite segment of the show, and it's hashtag daily. Today is Motivation Monday. Now, more often than not, we celebrate people who are dead or tell the successes of people in their latter years. On the AM Club, we say no to that. We are going to be celebrating and throwing the spotlight on young people doing amazingly well and impacting their world. And this morning, my guest is, I'm even laughing already. My guest is someone you may know, and let me tell you who she is. She has written for publications like Freeze, Art News, African Metropolitan Architecture, and New Daughters of Africa. Her first novel, The Godchild, I beg your pardon, was published by one of the biggest publishing houses in the world, Bloomsbury Publishing, in 2019. She has made several films. She's a founder of the ANO, or ANO Institute of Art and Knowledge. She is the recipient of various awards and honors, including being one of the Apollo 40 Under 40, was appointed to the Advisory Council of the Oxford University, and at the 2021 Glitz Awards, she was adjudged Woman of the Year in Cultural Arts. When I was reading about her, it was lots of stuff, awards and honors and on and on and on. I'm like, I want to read everything and the film she's made, but for the sake of time, we'll just jump into the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this morning is Nana Ofusua Oforiate Yim. Good morning.
Morning.
Wow, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, let me take a deep breath. Let me take a deep breath. Like I was telling you of reading about you was so amazing. Why didn't I know about you all this while? You know, and when I shared your picture on my WhatsApp status, people kept, oh, you know her. Oh, she's amazing. She's this, she's that. You know, it's such an honor to be sitting in front of you right now.
Thank you.
With so much prominence. And we're going to share your story with the world. Hopefully they get inspired as I have been. And so we'll begin, of course, if you could briefly tell me, art history, what is it about it that you decided as a young person to go into?
So I actually started off with an interest in politics. So I studied Russian and politics, and I started off working with the United Nations in New York in the Department of Political Affairs. But what I realized very quickly is that, and I'm sorry to all politicians, but I realized that with politics you can't really, it's hard to affect real change. Because there were so many, working at United Nations, I realized you have to make so many compromises, you have to make so many people happy. If you want to push something through, it's very, very hard. I mean, we see that in this country as well. There's a lot of obstacles. And I'd always been fascinated by literature, films, art, and their ability to make an immediate impact. You can read a book about somebody who's very, very different than you, but through reading, you can have empathy with that person. You can understand their circumstances. You can watch a film about a group of people, and it can change your view of the world. You can see an artwork on objects, and it can do something in you. It can create transformation. And so I went back to university. I did a master's in African art history because it was always my passion to represent us, to ourselves, but also to the world in a way that I hadn't seen us represented before.
Wonderful, wonderful. You talk about film and all that, but you started out with writing?
Yes.
Why?
I've always loved books. I've always loved the way they're able to transport you to another place, another time. They're able to make you feel as if your world is full. I've always loved books.
Wonderful. What are your top 5 favorite books?
Oh, wow.
I'm just jumping ahead to ask these questions. Maybe I can put some stuff down to go read myself.
Wow. So I studied Russian literature because I've always loved Russian literature. I mean, obviously there are the classics, War and Peace by Tolstoy. In terms of African literature, obviously Aikwe Ama Ata Edu.
Awesome.
I did a reading the other day with 2 of my favorite writers, contemporaries, Aisha Haruna Atta, the author of Hamatan Rain, and Nana Dakwa Setiyama, who recently published the very controversial sounding The Sex Lives of African Women. And so, yeah, many, many different types of authors.
Wonderful. I think the only thing Russian novel I've read has to do with what we did in school at Nikolai Gogol's, I think, The Inspector General.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful book.
Wow.
That was a beautiful book. But you have, like I said, you've traveled the entire country. You've gone all over Ghana doing your work. I know you have the Mobile Museum.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So, as you can tell by my accent, I lived abroad for a long time. And I loved going into museums, galleries, etc. When I came home, or every year when I came home, I realized we have the Afashie and the festivals, the Akwasidae, etc. But when I went to the National Museum, it was empty, always, apart from maybe a few school children or tourists. When I went to the galleries, it was always the same 50 or so people that went from one gallery to the other. It wasn't really something that everyday Ghanaians or most Ghanaians spoke to them. And so I asked myself, how come I go to Afashie and there's hundreds of people go to their hometown for it? So it's not that we don't appreciate culture, we do. It's just that the way that it's imported from the West, it doesn't speak to the majority of people here. So I asked myself, what kind of structure might we create that speaks to everyday Ghanaians? Because I feel like cultural is so valuable. You know, you can go, you can see yourself reflected. It can be a space where you can think about yourselves collectively. You know, who are we as a nation? Where have we come from? Where might we be going? And so I thought about the architecture and the structure, and I thought, okay, a kiosk is on every corner. It's a hairdresser, it's a plumber, it's an electrician. So it's a place that people feel comfortable going into. So I started off with a museum in a kiosk, and it was very successful. I did it in Jamestown. So many people came, people were looking at things, you know, talking about things. They thought, wow, this works, you know. So I created with an architect a mobile museum, a portable one that you can literally take apart, put it on the back of a truck. And I decided to travel the country with it, asking people, you know, what is valuable to you in culture? What would you like to see? And then doing exhibitions like that.
Okay, oh goodness. Before we get into the deep conversations about culture and all that, I like that you mentioned that when we're talking about culture, we need to ask where we are coming from. So let's talk about where you are coming from.
Okay.
You growing up, tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Okay, so my parents are both Achim, Ghanaian, and they went to Europe on scholarships to study, and then there were the coups of the 70s, 80s, etc. So they ended up staying, and I was born in Germany, as was my younger brother. My older siblings were born here, and so my early years were in Germany and England, as you can hear. But then my mother moved back when I was, I think, around 10. So I'd be coming home, but my father was still in Germany. So I spent most of my education in Europe, even though because my mother was here, Ghana was home. So that was my early years.
Okay, would you say your upbringing in Germany and in Europe is what has made you miss home for some reason and gotten you interested in African arts and our culture?
Yeah, I think that I know that a lot of people who live abroad feel like they're either black Germans or black British, but I never felt that. I always felt very, very Ghanaian. And I don't know if it's also because I come on my mother's side from a very traditional family. You know, we do a lot of, one of my uncles was an Odumon Komatrima, like a divine drummer. Odumon Komatrima.
Oh, right.
He was a divine drummer, you know, he did the talking drum, the atumpam drum. You know, we'd always go home for the ohum, you know, so this kind of traditional culture was very much part of my upbringing. And it was very rich. You know, the drums talk, the aduwa talks, the cloth that the Ochihene or the Ashantihene is working might be 700-800 years old, you know, and I was just fascinated. Every time I'd go, I'd be asking questions. What does this mean? What does this mean? And then they'd say to me, oh, you small girl asking so many questions. But I was fascinated from a very young age.
Right. I like how you're talking about all the beautiful things that happened to you growing up. But were there challenges you faced as a child? If you can remember some of them and share with us, perhaps to inspire the many young people out there watching us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody has challenges. I mean, for me, growing up outside of Ghana, one of the biggest challenges was, you know, not quite knowing where I belong. I was a black child in a white environment. And so I think that's one of the reasons I very much looked home for identity. Other challenges were that my parents didn't know what to do with me. You know, Ghanaian parents, they want you to be, especially if they're investing a lot of energy into your education, they want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. And I was into the arts. And so there was a lot of concern, especially from my father, you know, how are you going to earn money? Why don't you go and work in a bank, you know? It was a lot of concern in terms of the path that I was taking, that I wouldn't be able to look after myself, that they didn't even understand what I was doing. So that was quite a big challenge, that despite the doubt, I had to still keep believing in myself. And even when at the beginning, you know, you don't make money, you don't know. And I couldn't really tell my parents, you know, that I'm struggling because they're going to say, see, we told you so, get a proper job. And so, you know, having to believe in yourself despite nobody else really believing in you or not knowing where you're going. I think that was the biggest challenge, one of them.
Ooh, and being called on Oxford University's advisory board, working with the UN in New York and all that, how do they feel about it now?
Now they're very proud. Now they're very proud, I think, and also because I've managed to create a successful path for myself, and one that's been untrodden. You know, it's not that I followed in a path that was well trodden. I really had to create my own path. And, you know, now, like you say, I'm advising Oxford University, I'm advising the German government, the Ghanaian, you know, and so, yeah, they see that and they're proud. Even my dad wrote a message to me this morning saying he's proud of me.
Oh, wow. Give me, what is your typical morning like?
So I wake up with prayer and meditation, just a quiet moment to come back to myself and connect, and gratitude as well. Even this morning I was kind of listing all the things that I'm grateful for, because I think it puts you in the mood of positivity. You know, it's obviously every day comes with challenges and obstacles, but if you remind yourself for the things that you're grateful for and you connect with, you know, whatever your faith is, with the higher kind of power and light that's guiding you, that for me is very important. And then meditation, just coming to a place of quiet, forgetting about the stress and the emails and everything, just starting off with quiet is very important to me in the morning. I try to do some exercise in the morning. I don't always succeed with that. And then I just start the day. I have breakfast, I start the day, yeah.
Right, and what inspires you, really, of course? What inspires you?
I think knowing, like I was saying, this idea, this faith, knowing that I have a higher purpose, connecting with that higher purpose every day, I think really inspires me, because, you know, everybody has obstacles and challenges in the day-to-day, and if you get stuck within them, you know, things can seem overwhelming sometimes. So knowing that you have a higher purpose, whatever it is, you know, like I was saying, sometimes people might doubt you, or they might say, you know, where are you going with what you're doing? But if you can, in a daily way, connect with what you know your purpose is, that for me is a great inspiration. And then obviously, you know, the writers and filmmakers and people that came before me.
I'm having a conversation with Nana Ofosua-Oforiatta, a writer, art historian, a filmmaker, sharing her life story with us. God, she's traveled the world, she's done a lot of work, honored in so many places. The conversation is getting even more interesting. And if you're interested in joining us, do well to send us a message on our WhatsApp line at 055-033-1511, 055-033-1511, or on our social media handles at MX24GH with the hashtag Motivation Monday and the hashtag the AM Club. Nana, you're also a filmmaker, absolutely, and I know that you've come up with a new documentary called Ghana Freedom. We'll play it at the end of our conversation, but could you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so in 2019, I curated Ghana's first pavilion at the Venice Biennale. The Venice Biennale is like the Olympics of the art world. Every country has its pavilion and they represent the country. From Africa, unfortunately, there's only, I think, about 2 or 3 pavilions for obvious reasons. You know, we have other concerns and other worries, but I managed to bring Ghana there, and it was a huge success. We were covered by CNN, Al Jazeera, New York Times, everywhere. We're in the top 3 of the pavilions of the world. Wow. So it was really incredible the way we represented ourselves. And the reason I titled it Ghana Freedom, it was first of all from the song, you know, in the 70s, Ghana, we all, you know. Freedom. Yeah. And then also because, you know, Nkrumah, when he gave that famous speech, you know, and I think it was, you know, Ghana, our mighty nation is free forever. And it really made me think, what does that mean? You know, are we really free? And what does freedom mean in our context? Does it mean, you know, we're free to define ourselves, free to earn money? For the majority of Ghanaians, that's not true. Yeah. So what does that freedom mean? So I worked with the artists to really go into that question. And then when I came back home, I wanted to ask people, every kind of person, from a fisherman to a weaver to a charcoal seller to a lecturer to a lawyer to a politician, every kind of Ghanaian. First of all, what does freedom mean to you? And can art and culture somehow contribute to that freedom? Wow. Because for me, art and culture is a way for you to really define yourself in the world, to find yourself in the world, and then also to resonate to the outside. Who am I? And so, are you free? What is freedom? And how does art or culture contribute to that, if at all? And what is art and culture to you? What is art to the fishermen in Cape Coast?
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. My goodness. Art is a way to find yourself in the world. Quote by Nana Ofosofo-Yateyi. We have some WhatsApp messages coming in. Let me read this quickly. And it says, hello, Mama Ba inside Agunas Radio. I'm really enjoying your program. Although I didn't start with you, but I had learned a lot from the topic. All right, I think they're talking about the earlier conversation with Edma and the HR consultant. But Nana Ofosofo-Yateyi, this is all the time will afford us. Thank you for coming. I wish we could go on and on and on and on and on, but that's all the time we have. Hopefully, we get to talk to you again. Thank you so much.
Thanh you.
And that was Namboh Ofuyata-Ayim, writer, art historian, and filmmaker. When we return, we're having a conversation with Irene Logan on The Plug. Stay with us.
Ghana, we now have freedom. Ghana, land of freedom.
In 1957, our president, Kwame Nkrumah, proclaimed that Ghana was free at last. But what did that freedom look like? What does it look like now? Have we really won the freedom to define ourselves? The freedom to overcome our own obstacles? How does culture, that ultimate ability to create, to understand ourselves and each other, contribute to that freedom? We traveled the country and asked this of fishermen, children, sculptors, lawyers, teachers, charcoal sellers, boat painters, lecturers, mural painters, curators, traditional priests, monks, imams, sign painters, farmers, politicians, queen mothers, market women, knowledge keepers, and many more. We found that those things that make our culture, our memories, identities, ways of healing, knowledge of the natural world, our celebrations, the structures we create around us, the symbols we use to pass on meaning, how we build communities, are all inherent to that freedom. We wanted to know, how do we begin to live into that freedom consciously? And what of that knowledge can we contribute to the world?
Across Africa, nations are beginning to trade among themselves like never before, creating the largest continental market the world has ever seen. On the Single African Market Program, we will show you how products, services, capital and people will be crossing barriers as the continent and its citizens embrace a single market in a sustainable manner for growth and development to meet targeted UN development goals.
Congratulations, Your Excellency.
Get the latest update on all opportunities from the Continent's Trade House. Know the success stories and how challenges are being addressed. Africa is ready to trade among itself and the world, so are the people. The Single African Market is the voice of businesses that trumpets the vision of Africa everywhere, in association with the Government of Ghana, International Chamber of Commerce, Business for Peace Foundation, GIZ, UNECA, and UNDP.
The Single African Market, this Monday at 8 p.m. on MX24.
Opinions are like onions. Everybody has one.
Abortion is a no-no. As a human being, you must take responsibility for all your actions and inactions. Your misjudgment shouldn't be enough grounds to take a life.
No. I disagree with you because look, if you do not legalize it, people will go to quack doctors anyway who might end up not just kill the baby, but the mother as well.
Why should I waste my time, join a long queue under the hot sun to vote for a political party, knowing very well that nothing would be achieved at the end of the day?
Something will be achieved. It's your civic responsibility to turn out to vote. Vote and vote for a good leader.
Governments need to cater to every graduate, diversify the economy, invest in other sectors.
But the government cannot do it all. That is why we need the youth to take up the mantle and set up their own businesses. That is how we will create economic viability.
Here on Opposing Views, we take your views, my views, and the views of the experts and put them in the right context for you, our discerning viewers.
Shut up and bend over, eh? And let your backer do the talking over. So back up, back up.
You guys are doing beyond what a regular would do, and I'm attracted more to that. I like people who want to do something different, you know, not the usual TV.
What's up, guys? Your boy Kiddy, aka the Golden Boy, aka Sugar Daddy. Catch me on MX24.
It is fun, it is fearless, it is factual.
This is the Big Five. Jeanette Services presents Women in Worship. Themed The Grace Experience, featuring the VGMA Artist of the Year, Diana Hamilton, the incredible Mercy Chinwell, and the amazing Judy Kay from Nigeria. With support from Florence Obinim and Celestine Donkor, Daughters of Glorious Jesus, and Obapa Christie. Date Sunday, September 19th. Venue UPSA Auditorium, Medina. Gates open at 4 p.m. Tickets are selling for 70 Ghana Cedis single and 120 Ghana Cedis double at Airport Shell, Bachelor Total, UPSA, or purchase via www.myticketghana.com. For VIP family packages or ticket reservations, call 0248-810-396. Women in Worship is proudly brought to you by Fortune Rice and Onga, and supported by media partners. Women in Worship. Daughter, you still have a voice.
Welcome back, and you are still watching the AM Club live on MX24, where we are fun, fearless, and of course factual. It's now time for the plug. Godwin, take us away.
My goodness, you know I'm excited.
Take us away. I don't even want to hear it. Take us away.
She knows I'm hyper. Yes, you're watching the AM Club, and it's time for the plug. Now, to begin our conversation, we have Liberian-born Ghanaian singer, songwriter, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. You know her, I know her. She broke out into the music scene when she won the maiden edition of Stars of the Future singing competition, and then went ahead to form a group with her good friend Efia, then Jane Awindo as Irene and Jane, and then went single and came out with one of the biggest singles ever, Baby Run Away. Everybody could rap that song at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to announce that we have the ever beautiful, the evergreen Irene Logan in the studio with us. Wow.
Thanks for having me. What an intro.
it's exciting to see you in person. Woof.
Pleasure to be here.
You're pretty in person, I must say.
Thank
if you don't stop me, I'll go on and on and on.
Please. Let's start with the conversation.
All right, Irene. Well, it's been a while.
It has.
How many years has it been? You've been away for a while.
Well, the truth is, have I really been away? I've sort of been like, in and out. Yeah. For a period of almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow, a decade. That's
in and out. Time flies.
Absolutely.
What have you been up to, if I may ask?
Well, so many things. In 2006, after Stars of the Future, life, I was so young, in my early 20s, and life began for me. I didn't have a lot of answers because as every young child, you're exploring, you're growing. But one thing that was very I was very sure of was that I wanted to impact the world in a very significant way, especially my continent. I wanted to be a positive representation of an African woman. Wow. And going into music, it was a beautiful experience, a beautiful path, but I always wanted more. I wanted more than just standing on stage and singing. I wanted to really impact. And also impact myself, because I had personal issues, emotional issues, stress, a lot of things, because I just was not sitting right within my purpose. So that was the reason why I was so inconsistent with my availability or with my pouring out. Yes, so that made me go in and out a lot of the music industry. I was a UNHCR advocate, ambassador for refugees because of my Liberian background, something I was very passionate about. Ran an initiative with them called I Am the Future to encourage young people, you know, to build capacity, to be involved in their communities and look for solutions. I did that for a while, and I also started my own company called Tribasa. It's a luxury brand, African-inspired luxury brand, and I've just been evolving from there. Yes.
And in terms of the passion that you were looking for, would you say that you found it now in terms of like the ground that you are on now, or you're still in a process of finding it?
Yes. Well, that's such a loaded question. You know, our lives is never infinite until it's finished. You know, we're always evolving, always learning. But at the capacity at which I'm operating right now, in this moment, I feel like I am more settled within my purpose. I'm more on the path to bursting into that woman that I know is in there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's talk about a bit of music.
Yay.
So you've transitioned from, is it R&B, pop, or I don't know what genre it was, something like that, but then now it's more of a gospel genre.
Yes.
So let's talk about the transition and why did you feel the need to have that transition?
Yes. I'm from a very spiritual background. I grew up in a Christian home, very Christian, strictly Christian. When we were growing up, my parents, we did not even listen to secular music, even though I used to listen to it in school, and I knew all the Brandy songs, the Monica Boy is, you know, but that type of background made me very curious. So after I won Stars of the Future, I had been in the church all my life, and I knew that I had a calling on my life, but I wanted to live, I wanted to explore, I wanted to do normal things that young people did, things I thought were normal. I wanted to fit in. The truth is, I struggled because it just wasn't who I was. It just was not who I was. And people who could really see, people who didn't even know me, who could really see, just knew that I just didn't fit in. And I knew it. It's something I struggled with, something I wanted to fight. But
Would you say that it also contributed to your in and out in the music
industry? It was part of the face of depression. It was part of my inconsistencies. And I just could not pour out enough. I couldn't, you know, it's like a square peg in a round hole. So, but I had an encounter some years ago with God, and it was so profound, and that was my answer. So I made a decision then to surrender. Surrender, not just my music, like, oh, now I'm doing gospel. For me, it's not about the artistry, it's about the ministry.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I'm very, very willing. I'm a willing vessel to be used. And it hasn't been easy. It's not like this magic one, oh, I am doing gospel, all my problems are over. No.
Yeah, I mean, this is a conversation that we do have a lot in terms of with gospel musicians as well. I mean, yes, the content of the song is gospel. I mean, being a gospel musician, you're literally preaching the gospel of the world through your music. So your lifestyle sort of must also follow what you are singing, and not just because you're a gospel singer that's basically what it is. That's just, it ends there. You know?
And beyond that, we've had some people in other genres, so secular genres, who have moved to gospel, and more often than not, rather I should say, they don't get accepted, you know, as much, and they don't seem to break through that particular industry. Do you get worried that, you know?
I love the fact that you asked me that question. No, because it's like I said, it's about the ministry. And what is my ministry? What is my purpose in this ministry? God has called me for a purpose, and I'm discovering that purpose every day. It's to win souls. Now, the souls that will be won through my ministry might be 100, might be 10, might be 5, might be 10,000. You know, it's just about the souls that will be won. And if it happens that Irene Logan is not what they call mainstream entertainment-wise, but it's mainstream kingdom-wise, glory to God.
I mean, there's a whole new goal for you right now, and the goal right now is to save souls for the Lord, and that's the main goal. Even if it's just one soul, at least you were able to at least get one soul and achieve that target. Fantastic. Now, so let's talk about your new single that's out now. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yay! So I'm so excited, smiling. That song was given to me in my period of wait. After I surrendered, I had to wait for a period of about 2 years, just waiting because I wanted direction as to how. You know, it's not like, okay, you've been called now, what are you doing? You're going to sing and dance. No, I wanted to know what the ministry entailed. So during that wait period, I was on a long flight from New York to South Africa. And the entertainment system in the whole flight was not working. It was a 14-hour flight. So that means we're going to sit down for 14 hours staring at the chair in front of you. You know, but there was a lady sitting next to me called Peggy. She was a missionary lady. We got talking, we got praying, just, you know, just talking about the love of Christ. And as I fell asleep, I heard the song. It was so clear that I thought people were singing in the plane.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the birthing of More. For me, when I listened to the lyrics of that song, it's so personal to me because it was almost like the Holy Spirit telling me what I was born to do. I was born to perform signs and wonders in His name, miracles in His name. Let me be more of you. Christ in me, the hope of glory. So that's the whole essence of that song, to encourage people out there who are struggling with their calling, who are struggling to understand what they've been called to do on this earth. So. And it's a beautiful song. I love it.
It is. I absolutely love it as well. I mean, that's one great thing to say and one message to put out there as well, especially when it comes to when you're a new baby in Christianity. It's really hard for you to find where you belong. What ministry do I go to? What do I do? What's my purpose, you know, in the church or in Christianity? So listen to that song is definitely something really great. I don't know how to explain it because I was listening to it this morning. I told you, and I was listening to it as I was getting ready to host the show, and it was something that I feel like I could relate to because I was born in a church, so my parents are pastors. Okay, I'm a pastor's daughter. So I can definitely relate into, you know, wanting to eventually venture out and explore the world, and then, you know, coming back. Sometimes it's difficult, you know, backsliding and coming back is difficult. But then once you find your purpose and once you know that this is what I am called for, you just pick it up from there. So I can definitely relate to that song.
It's a loving father.
And if somebody wants to hear the song or listen to the song, what platform should they go to?
Everywhere you go. It's on all the streaming websites. Boomplay has been amazing. It's on there. The numbers are great. Thank you guys. It's on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music. I can't remember all, but everywhere where music is legally placed, it's there. Awesome. And also on my YouTube page, Irene Logan Official is a new YouTube page. So please subscribe and listen.
Please do subscribe. And if people want to get in contact with you as well, what social media platforms are you on?
I'm on, I'm so bad with social media. I'm on Twitter as Irene Logan GH, Instagram Irene Logan. My Facebook page is there. I'm trying to figure out it, but any of those, I'm very active on Instagram. So, you know, people could message me, private message me, or send me an email.
Fantastic.
So before we leave them, before we say goodbye to Irene Logan, let's read some of the comments that are coming on Facebook. This one is from Niamu. Justice says, great show. Thank you very much, Niamu. This one says, this one from Rosemond Martin says, loving the show. Yes, we are loving you too. This one from Emma Date says, no, Sandra Awudi says, go girl, so proud of you, babe. I don't know if it's referring to Irene Logan or you, Edma. And then, okay, she says volunteering is important. Yeah, referring to the conversation. This one said, Namboh, please, to what I'm listening to right now, it sounds like a written story. She does it all. You guys doing amazing. Okay.
Thank you. Wow. Irene, it was amazing having you on the AM Club, and I can officially say that you are a club member. So feel free to join us anytime. You are officially a club member. Well, That will be all for the AM Club today.
Absolutely.
Right? It was an amazing conversation. We want to say a big thank you to
our guest today.
Yes, to Louis, to Emmeline, and to, of course, Irene Logan, and
absolutely. to Nana for joining us on the AM Club today. You can also join us even after the show is over. Remember, it's hashtag the AM Club at MX24GH on all social media platforms, and also you can send us a message on our personal handles on social media. Mine is at Godwin Namboh on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Yes, ma'am.
And mine is at Edma Lawer, EDMALAWR. Thank you very much for watching today, and we are going to leave you with a beautiful song by the one and only Irene Logan. Have an amazing day.